Hello, everybody. My name is Janelle Crothers, and I'm a technical evangelist for Microsoft. And I'm here today with Ed Gallagher, a Microsoft MVP and the network architect at Uptime CNS. Welcome.
Hi, Janelle. It's great to be here with you today. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about why Windows IT pros need to be looking at Windows 10 as a solution for what it is they're doing in their day-to-day.
Awesome. I guess, you do a lot of work with Windows 10, with a lot of clients, so hopefully you'll be able to bring a lot of insight as to why Windows 10 is definitely something that they're going to need to look at. Let's start out, though, with the changing role of the IT pro. We've had a lot of changes coming down the pike the last 5 years with the industry, with the cloud, with hybrid. What's your take on it?
Absolutely, that's the case. If you're still approaching IT the way that you were even just a couple of years ago, I can pretty much guarantee that you're probably doing it the wrong way. You really need to be looking at different ways of managing, different ways of administering your network, different ways of working with your users, different ways of working with the technology in general because of all the changes that have been coming down the road.
So it's really changing how we've worked.
It's changing how we work. It's changing how the people that we work with work also. And the two are kind of driving each other in how this is moving along.
So we definitely have a lot of evolving business needs as well. Like recently, in the real recent past actually, everything was 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, PCs on that LAN. Corporations had a lot of control about when people came and went, what they did while they were there. And for a lot of folks, not too long ago, the office was the best place to work. You got the best computer and the highest speed connection. And now that's not so much the case. The ecosystem is much more diverse. People are bringing their own devices. They want access to the internet in the same way they're used to at home and stuff like that. So the business needs seem to have to evolve with that. Mobile first, device first, laptops, tablets, all those sort of things. The BYOD, I think, is a little here to stay.
Yeah, it is, but there are circumstances where BYOD can be something that's a little bit difficult to implement in the correct way. And very often, one of the changes that we need to make as IT pros is that it's not just the technology or just the component or just the feature set that we're looking at, but very often it's the way that the implementation is done, making sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's appropriately for the different needs that our company and that our industry have, making sure that we actually get it done the right way, securely and with reliability.
Now, I know, I work for Microsoft, so we definitely have that whole Windows 10, being the one ecosystem sort of for the future. One operating system, one developer platform, one store, Windows as a service. It's, do you think, I feel like we got it right finally.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. There were some stumbling blocks in the not too recent past, but the company, the Windows product team has really learned from the feedback from their end users. And I think Windows 10 is an exceptional platform to work in. I know now that as I'm using a Windows 10 device, I'm a lot more productive at doing the kind of work that I need to do. And when I need to switch back to using a Windows 8.1 or a Windows 7 device, I'm stumbling around because I can't do things as efficiently as I can in the Windows 10 world at this point. So it's Windows 10. One of the advantages, I think, is that there's a lot of familiarity to how to use it in the places where that needs to be, but there's also a lot of innovation and interesting and very useful new technologies that are available at your fingertips in a Windows 10 desktop environment.
So we really are trying to allow people to do a lot of great things much easier, be more productive, make all sorts of things happen, plus provide the things that the enterprises need, the security threat management and the management for all of this continuous innovation. All the startups out there now, all the businesses out there now are continuously innovating, continuously developing, and we can't wait 3 years for new software to show up again and things like that.
Absolutely correct. That's one of the things that I think, though, is kind of shaking the foundation of a lot of IT pros out there, is this whole concept of continuous innovation, continuous updates of feature sets, because we kind of panic of, well, this new version of the OS came out, now I've got all this stuff to learn. But sometimes it's a matter of looking at how to use a new tool in a new way that allows you to adapt and adopt to it more effectively. Because Windows 10 is now more of an evolutionary change process versus the version-to-version revolutionary change processes that we've been used to in the past, there's not as much new stuff to learn in one shot as there has been in the past. So it's a little bit easier to absorb those kinds of things and to integrate the new functionality into a more useful, more productive manner into the day-to-day operations that you need, both from your standpoint as an IT pro of managing and administering, but it's also, of course, very helpful for your end users too.
Now, you said something that I can totally relate with. That whole, there's not one big chunk of stuff to learn that's new. There's little parts that are new over and over and over again, like that keep getting released. I sort of feel like as I'm learning that it's so easy to miss something. Like, 10 years ago, when you learned about a new product, you got the new product, you learned the new things, and then you were good to go for a really long time. And now you come back a week later, 2 weeks later, 4 weeks later, and something that didn't work the way you wanted it to before works now. So I just feel like it's really hard to keep up, and that's one of the challenges that I think IT professionals and even our end users are going to have, I think, going forward.
It is really a challenge, especially when you look at the larger scope of the changing role of an IT pro, all the cloud and hybrid implementation stuff that we're doing these days, the security concerns that we have to deal with, all those kinds of different kinds of challenges that we face every day of what it is that we're working with. So one of the things, though, as far as that pace of change is concerned, and you're concerned about missing things, that was the case too when everything was being delivered in one big package, because we all have limited amount of time. So you'd take whatever time you could spare to learn as much as you could about that new big product, and then there were all of those things, hundreds of things, sometimes thousands of things that you completely overlooked because you just didn't have the time to work with it. Now, I've been finding that as the changes are coming along more incrementally, I can keep up with some of the information changes through Microsoft resources like TechNet and some of the blogs that are out there. But I can also, just through my normal use of the product, I'm learning about new different components and new different feature sets that make my job easier. So, and as an IT pro, making my job easier is really one of my biggest concerns because we keep getting more stuff thrown at us. Our jobs become more challenging, and there's a lot more that we have to encompass within our organization on a day-to-day basis than we have in the past. So it's hard to keep up with this. So if I can become more efficient, if I can become more useful in the way that I'm doing my work, more productive, it's a benefit.
Well, that sounds great. I think this really is going to set the tone for the rest of the things that we're going to talk about this afternoon. And starting out with that changing role of the IT pro, and touching on some of those security concerns that we're going to have. So I think we're going to continue on with some next modules. And thank you for starting this with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.